What's up, baby? Friend Johnny. How you doing, baby?
My name is Joe. I'm a Woodside, Queens guy, son of an untraditional Italian family.
He's a baby.
And I've been in the fish business for over 30 years at the Fulton Fish Market.
Very nice stuff. Very nice stuff.
We work in the middle of the night, when most of you are sleeping. And that's when I like to cook. I want to take the fear out of buying and cooking fish, share some of my family stories, and give you the best recipes I got from a lifetime of loving seafood. I'm passionate about cooking, and that's why they call me Joe Tuna.
Always trust the fat guy when he tells you what to eat. This is it, kids. Anybody want to eat? Yeah. All right, boys, line up. Welcome to the Hunts Point Fulton Fish Market. I'm Joe Tuna, and today I'm going to make my father's version of lobster fra diavolo from his restaurant. It was what I called his doghouse dish. Got him out of the doghouse every time he got into trouble. Dad, every once in a while, would stay out all night playing poker, whatever. He'd make this recipe, all problems were solved. Always pulled the rabbit out of the hat and made my mom happy. To be honest with you, I still use this recipe today to get myself out of trouble when that infrequently happens. So today, let me go over to my friend Brian at Captain Blue and buy some lobsters and get this recipe started. It's cold in here today, brother. Hey,
How's
Brian.
it going, Joe?
Good, man. Listen, I'm gonna make some lobster fra diavolos, one of my father's recipes from his restaurant. The dish he used to get out of trouble whenever he got into trouble, which seemed to be awful with my family and my mother. But what do you got in lobsters today? What kind of lobsters you got?
I got what I always got, Joe. I got some hard shells from Maine.
Nice.
Pretty nice looking lobsters.
You're like
fresh off
pound
of
and
the
quarters,
boat.
pound and a halves.
Those guys are still kicking around in there.
Yeah, they are. They are. They're nice. These are Maine lobsters. Come from Canada and Maine. There's a lot of meat in the claws and in the tail, as opposed to spiny lobsters, which don't have any claws, and they got all the meat in the tail and some in the body. This got some meat in the body. I'm going to find it. Believe me. Not much in the little legs like this here.
These lobsters are the ones you mainly find in the restaurants that you would buy. They come from Canada.
All sizes,
Maine,
too.
You know, we got some chicks over there. These are about 1.5 pounds, 1.25 pounds around there.
Okay.
I don't know what you're looking for today, Joe.
No, I'm looking
for
for some
butter some up with them?
No. See, that's the whole thing, Brian. Lobsters are a good source of protein and a good source of omega-3 fatty acids. But the problem is people always put them in these fatty sauces. They dip them in butter, and they put them in lobster bisque. I try and make them in a tomato sauce, serve them with whole wheat pasta. Try and make it as healthy as possible. It's a good source of protein, and if you're going to go for the extra buck, you want that succulent meat, that succulent tail meat and the claw meat. You want to make the best out of it, get the best out of it, and don't mask it with all sorts of fats. But I lost a lot of weight, and I want to try and maintain it. So if we try and keep it on the healthy side, I think we'll do a lot better with this.
Yeah, me personally, I like to use the whole lobster when I'm cooking with it. What are you planning on doing with are you cooking the whole lobster? Or
well, I'm going to cut it up into pieces. A lot of times when I had when my kids were small, we used to go to the pool club together, and we would have all the people over after a day of swimming and all that. If I had some lobsters, I'd cut them up. You make them into pieces, so everybody gets a piece. You get the flavor in the sauce. Everything turns out real nice. But if you put a whole lobster, then everybody's got to get a half or whatever. If you cut them up and you do it right, everybody can get a piece, get the meat, and you can get the flavor in the sauce. That's it. There's a lot of flavor in here. In the body here, in this whole body part here, I think they call it the carapace. This whole part, if you do it right, you can get a lot of meat out of here. There's not a lot of meat in here. The only one that used to get the meat out of this was my grandfather. God bless his soul. To see him eat one of these, you could actually see him derive the energy out of the lobster when Grandpa ate a lobster. It was a beautiful thing, man. But and he used to make a job out of it. We'd be on dessert in a restaurant, and Grandpa'd still be chowing down on that lobster. But he was this was his favorite dish, and but he didn't want it cut up. He wanted it whole. He wanted that whole thing right in front of him.
I personally, from the body part, I like the tamale, the liver. Some
yeah,
people
that's a female lobster. You see, this top, what looks like a leg, is what indicates the female organ. This one here, it's longer and firmer and it's tucked in. That's the male. This one has the tumuli, which is, or tamale, however you want to say it. This has the eggs inside of it. Some people, you know, aesthetically, they don't really like it. It looks a little funky. But honestly, people who love lobsters love the females. So you're right. You're absolutely right, Brian. That's really quite astute. Why don't you try and pull me out about 6 pieces, 1 3/4 pounds to 2 pounders out of here as you're culling through your orders. I'm gonna get some mussels and some clams also. So why don't you start that up and send it over to the table?
So I'll get that all wrapped up and I'll have one of the guys bring it over to you.
I appreciate it, man. Thanks a lot.
Joe.
Appreciate
it.
you. It's still cold in here.
Yeah.
Okay. Brian sent over the lobsters. He sent some real beauties. 1 3/4 to 2 pounders, hard shell lobsters from Maine. They're gorgeous. You just gotta kiss them. Nice enough to kiss. What we're gonna do right now is I'm gonna prepare 2 of these, maybe 3 to steam up. We're gonna steam them, cool them, then slice them to make a lobster appetizer. Then I'm gonna start to prepare the other lobsters for the lobster fra diavolo. I'm gonna make 2 dishes hopefully today if I'm really kind of stretching it, but I wanna try and make 2. First thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take off these rubber bands. That just stops the lobster. These are actually the lobster's hands. The lobster's mouth is there. So when lobsters are in a tank, they tend to eat one another if there's no food in the tank. So these we have to be careful of, but that's what other lobsters have to be careful of. So I'm going to take all the rubber bands off, and I'm going to take these over, and I'm going to bring them over to the sink and put them in a deep pot, and I'm going to hit them with some warm water. It kind of like anesthetizes the lobster so that you don't shock the meat, and it's a little bit more humane way of boiling a lobster so they don't thrash around in the water. So I'm going to take 3 lobsters from these ones that Brian sent me, take off my claw protectors, and like I said, just put them in the bottom of a deep pot in the sink and hit them with increasingly warmer water. Not scalding hot. You don't want to cook them. You just want to kind of anesthetize, like put them to sleep. That's what happens. So, okay, I'm going to bring these over to the sink. Make the temperature come up a little bit more, slow them down so we can put them into the pot and start to steam them. Okay? I'll be right back. Okay, we're back. I took the lobsters, I put them in a colander in the sink, and I hit them with increasingly warmer water, slowed them down, I anesthetized them in effect, and we're ready to put them in the pot. But first, I'd like to do a little bit of salt, a little bit of lemon juice. Actually, you can drop the lemon in there, what the heck, you know? Right in there, okay? We're gonna take these bad boys and put them right into the pot. No thrashing around, nothing, okay? We're gonna leave that to steam for a little while, and I'm gonna start to prepare the other lobsters that I'm gonna make the lobster fra diavolo. It's gonna take a little bit longer. So these got a little bit of time to cook. We're gonna cook them for about, I'd say, 10 minutes, and then pull them off the fire for another 5 minutes, 15 minutes max, maybe 20 max. Okay, we're back. We got these other lobsters. We're ready to start to prep them for lobster fra diavolo. I'm gonna take a pan, and basically I'm gonna take the claws off, tail off. Oh, look at that. We're gonna take the body off. We're gonna take the mouth part off, the masticator, the gills like I took off before. I'm gonna take those off also. See, that's the meat I was telling you about, okay? This part we can take out, but that's inside here, there's all meat. And once we chop it up, I'll show you how to do that in a minute after I finish cleaning the gills off this one and the next one, and I'll cut it in half, and you'll see there's more meat inside. So if you sit and take some time like Grandpa used to do, you'll find all of that meat. What I'm going to do, now that I got this in half, I'm going to cut this in half. All right, so you got half the legs there, half the legs there. In actuality, you can take the legs off, which I'm going to do because we're not going to have that much room. All right, just going to cut those off. So you're going to be left with this whole piece of the body, which is quite nice. All right, there's meat in there. Trust me, there's meat. All right, we're going to cut them in quarters. So you got 4 pieces of the lobsters. Everybody's going to get a piece because everybody's going to fight, and I don't want any fights here today. This is the tool that I was talking about. It's actually a meat mallet. You see the ridges on either side? When you take veal or chicken or anything, you pound it, it tenderizes it, it softens it, thickens it. I use this side, the flattened side, and I'll break the lobsters up so I can split them up amongst people. You can get at the meat more easily. You don't have to use that little fork. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the claw. You can get it tight on that. Cover it up. It's cracked. The meat is showing. Everything is going to be easily accessible this way. Okay? So I'm going to finish cracking off the rest of these, and then we're going to start to cook them. Okay? Give me 2 seconds. We're back. I'm ready to start to cook. I've got a nice hot pot. I've got, I would say, about a ½ cup of olive oil. Remember, I'm cooking 3 very large lobsters. We're going to add a little bit of garlic. I would say for this, we're going to add about a ½ cup of garlic. And I'm going to add a little bit of black pepper to that, a little bit of basil, dry basil, and a little bit of oregano. Okay? I may add some fresh basil a little later on, but right now I just want to let this come up to temperature. Then I'm going to add my lobster. I even cut the lobsters into smaller pieces. You know, I cut the claws into smaller pieces. I cut the tails into smaller pieces. You see, I cut the tail actually in quarters. Okay? There's those bodies you're going to find all the meat in later on. That's going in. Okay? When Brian brought over the lobsters before, I asked him for some mussels and some little neck clams. These are mussels. We've cooked them here on the show before. They're cultivated mussels, not dirty, not a mess, very little cleaning. Just rinse them and cook them. If you make your finger like that, that's what a little neck is. All right? Fits in your hand like that. When your index finger and your thumb are about a ½ an inch apart, that's a little neck. So I'm going to add these to the lobster in the pot. The indicator when I'm ready to add the sauce is when these all start to open up. I'm going to leave a couple of the mussels for later. Cover this up. I'm going to leave this for a couple of minutes, let it get up to temperature, then we're going to add some white wine to it. Help it steam and open up everything up. I'm also going to add some of my tomato sauce. I've told you before, I make big batches of tomato sauce in a pot like this here. And I put it in freezer bags. I lay them flat, I freeze them, I thaw them out when I need them. Much easier to do that way. Then I know what's inside that bag. If I want to add crushed tomatoes to it, I add crushed tomatoes to it. I want to add whole tomatoes, I add whole tomatoes. But you've got a base sauce that you know every ingredient in that sauce, rather than use a jar that you don't know anything that's in it. Okay, we've got our lobsters, the steamed lobsters, beautiful animals. We're gonna take them out here. 3 lobsters, let me get that from the side so I don't burn myself. Yo, too late for that. Okay, one more. I should have been doing this with tongs, but that's beautiful. These look fantastic. Okay, They look fantastic. Nice and red, steaming hot. It's exacerbated by the coldness here in the room, but we're gonna let these cool for a little while, then I'm gonna take the meat out of the tails and the claws only. I'm not gonna go dealing with a lot of that. I don't have that much time to go picking meat. Okay, we're back. I've thoroughly incorporated the lobster, the clam, and the mussels with the olive oil and the garlic and the oregano and the basil. Okay, now it's hot enough in there. Add a little bit more black pepper. I'm gonna add about, I would say, a half a cup of white wine. Remember, always use good white wine, nothing you wouldn't drink yourself. Okay, I do like this hot, so I'm gonna add some cayenne pepper to this. Okay, I'm gonna leave this for a little while. I'm gonna start to work on the other lobsters. I gotta pull the meat out of the lobsters, and so I can slice it for my appetizer with the avocado and the apples. Okay, and I'm gonna make my pesto sauce. Okay, what we're gonna do now is we're gonna take the steamed lobsters that have been sufficiently cooled, take the tail off like that, the claws, and I'm gonna take another pan to put these in. Again, I don't like to throw those out if I don't have to. I'll find some use for them. One more lobster to do. Okay. Take the claws. And we're ready to start to pull the meat out and slice up the meat. But first, I like to check the lobsters. Okay, give me 1 second. Let's go to the other side and check the lobsters. This is looking fine. See, the mussels starting to open, the lobster starting to turn red. Looks very nice. So at this point, I can smell the wine. Fantastic. I'm gonna start to take the meat out of the lobster. Okay, we're gonna, again, cut that top off. Snap this one this way towards you, the other way, and gently pull. I got it that time. Nailed it. Next thing, open this up. Beautiful. Got another one. Okay? I'm ready to do another tail. I'm going to take the tail. Like I said, score the inside on the ribs. Don't go too far down with the knife. You don't want to cut through it because we're going to slice this in a minute. Okay? Take the tail off the bottom. Split it in half, and out comes the meat. A beautiful one. Next, I'm going to take my lobster meat. The tail, I'm going to cut it, cut slices. Okay? I'm going to cut the slices. They don't have to be big, they don't have to be fancy, because they're going to go in between a nice slice of Granny Smith apple, a nice slice of avocado, nice ripe avocado, not too hard. And then it's going to be dressed with some pesto, fresh pesto sauce. As soon as I finish cutting this, we're going to, I'm even going to cut the claw. Okay? We're going to cut that. That looks beautiful. Okay? And in there, now we're going to look to start the pesto. Okay? In the pesto, pine nuts. Everybody uses pine nuts. This is about, I'd say, 4 ounces. We're gonna put it all in there. We're gonna put a whole, buy a bunch, I cleaned them before, a whole bunch of the basil. Stuff that bad boy in there, okay? A little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper. 2 more ingredients to go. We've got, I'd say, 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 10 garlic cloves. And the other 2 more ingredients now to go. Secret ingredients given to me from my friend Nino, walnuts. Only about, I'd say, an ounce of walnuts. Okay? Next one is olive oil. We're gonna add some extra virgin olive oil to this. This is a basic pesto sauce. The only thing that's added is the walnuts, and my friend Nino was the one who kind of pushed me to put that in. Okay? I've got my lid. No acidity in this. There you go. Now you're getting it. On high. And kick it in. I think I'm ready to assemble. I've got my platter. Granny Smith apple, lobster, avocado. Granny Smith apple, a piece of lobster, a piece of avocado, and so forth and so on. Now, this is pretty basic, so I'm going to allow my assistant to set up the rest of this dish while I check on the lobster and start the spaghetti. Stir your pasta as soon as you put it in the water. Nice salted water, the only time you're going to be able to salt it. I'm going to add about, I'd say 36, about 2 quarts, quart and a half of tomato sauce. Again, when I make my tomato sauce, I put it in freezer bags, lay them flat, thaw them out. It's nice and thick. I'm going to add about that much because I want to cover all the pasta that I put on. I don't know if you can see how thick that is. That is wonderful. When that all mixes with the wine and the juice from the lobster and the clams, it's going to be fantastic. There is your lobster fra diavolo. Nice and spicy. Everything is cooked. All your mussels, your clams, everything is beautifully cooked. Nice. The clams are open. The mussels are open. The smell is unbelievable. We're almost there on this one. Okay, all those clams are open. The mussels are all open. Their juices have spilled out and mingled with the wine, the sauce. This is really going to be nice. We're almost in the history books. We're basically waiting for that. Okay, my assistant did a beautiful job. Apple, lobster, avocado. Beautiful job. Okay, the lid is off the pesto. We're going to start to dress this now. Right down the middle. That looks beautiful. Right over the apples, the lobster, the avocado. Nice line of that pesto. And I didn't believe it, but I did. The walnuts do make a difference. It really does. Thanks, Nino. Cherry tomatoes. This looks fantastic. I really think we got a winner. I submit that this one is in the history books. Okay, we got a little bit of sauce on the bottom. I'm going to now pour my pasta over it. Okay. Next, all those mussels are open. All those clams are open. The lobster is, I'm going to put a little bit more of the lobster. There are the bodies, there's the claws, there's the tails. Everything's in there. Okay, that's pretty much good. I'm gonna add some sauce to this in a minute.
Hey Joe, if I help you present this stuff, you think I can get the first plate?
Such a con man. Good move though, Brian. I gotta admit. Okay, these are in the history books, folks. We got a lobster fra diavolo from Dad. I have the avocado Granny Smith apples. These are in the history books. Remember, always trust a fat guy when he tells you what to eat. This is it. Thanks for being with us. Yeah, first online, it figures. Willing to sign an affidavit to that fact. A little of this. Somebody cut some bread.